Greetings, my name is Mark Ahmad Pinkham. I'm the director of the Order and Mystery School of Seven Rays, and I'll be your host during this two-part presentation on the truth about Sanat Kumara. We in the Order and Mystery School of Seven Rays are dedicated to bringing you complete and easy to understand video presentations such as this one, that as accurately as possible reveal the true history of the human race on Earth. If you'd like to be alerted of any new videos we produce, please click on the subscribe button below. Now, in this second part of the two-part series, I'll give you a presentation on Sanat Kumara in his role as the planetary logos and king of the world. As I mentioned in part one, Sanat Kumara first came to Earth from the star system of the Pleiades. He was sent to our planet by his mother, Sophia, the creatress of the universe, in order to reveal to her children on Earth their divinity as incarnations of the infinite spirit. Sanat Kumara was the first of the 7 sons of Sophia, each of which is associated with one of the 7 stars of the Pleiades and one of the 7 rays that created the cosmos. Sanat was the first son and first ray, as well as a synthesis of all the 7 rays and 7 sons, which is why he's often depicted with many heads. The many-headed form of Sanat Kumara is referred to by the name of Kartikeya, son of the Pleiades. Sanat is also represented as either riding a peacock or as a peacock by itself. The ring of 7 red feathers that are attached to the peacock's central body in the logo to the left, they represent Sanat Kumara as the union of the 7 rays and the 7 suns. The peacock is standing on top of the earth, which is represented by the circle with a cross on it at the bottom of the image. This represents the arrival of Sanat Kumara on our planet. The Pleiades have been called the celestial seat of Sophia, as well as the seat of her son, Sanat Kumara. And the 7 sisters have also been called names that are associated with both Sophia and Sanat Kumara. In fact, one of its names is Kartik or Kartika, which is a name derived from Kartikeya, which, as I mentioned, denotes son of the Pleiades and is one of the names of Sanat Kumara. The 7 sisters also come together as a huge Shiva lingam. You can see there on your right side of your screen. This is a symbol of Sanat Kumara. A Shiva lingam, like the one to the left of the screen, it represents the union of God and goddess in the form of a male phallus that unites with a female womb to produce the first son, which we know as Sanat Kumara. Now, legend has it that Sanat Kumara first landed on Venus on his way to Earth, and as the Lord of Venus, he became the planet's monarch and guiding intelligence. Sometime later, he gathered together 144,000 assistants, and together they traveled to Earth. According to the Yazidis, a religious sect in northern Iraq, who call themselves the people of the peacock angel, in his form of a huge peacock, Sanat Kumara wrapped his peacock plumes completely around the earth. His feathers were etheric, and when they crystallized, they became all the colorful forms of nature. In this way, the physical body of Sanat Kumara became the earth, and he became the original green man. In order to monitor the spiritual evolution of humanity, Sanat Kumara also transmitted his spirit into our planet and became the planetary logos, the mind and will of Earth, which by another name is King of the World. It is his subtle will that directs all activity both within and upon our planet. Now, the crystallization of Sanat's peacock feathers on Earth appears to correspond with a sudden influx of grass and flowers on a planet that scientists maintain occurred approximately 6 to 7 million years ago and made our entire planet into a Garden of Eden. When the Earth became Sanat Kumara's physical body, the world's etheric grid of meridians and vortexes became his etheric body. And the largest vortexes of the grid, which are the Earth's chakras, became his chakras. As his crown chakra, Sanat Kumara inherited the crown chakra of Earth. This is Mount Kailash in Tibet, which is the physical manifestation of mythical Mount Meru that unites all the stars, planets, and dimensions. Since Mount Meru is said to have initially been at the North Pole, this may have been its location when Sanat claimed the Earth as his physical body. The association of the North Pole with Mount Meru is inherent in one of the names of Mount Kailash, which is the Swastika Mountain. Mount Kailash physically contains the shape of a huge swastika on one of its sides. And it also creates the shape of a huge swastika with its surroundings. The swastika is a symbol of the North and South poles. It is a cross that has 4 short arms attached to its 4 ends, thereby giving it the shape and motion of a propeller. The central point of the swastika indicates a physical point on Earth, such as the North Pole, that the Earth rotates around in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction that is determined by the direction of the swastika's propeller. Mount Meru, or Mount Kailash, became the first planetary seat of Sanat Kumara and his entourage of star people. Kailash was shaped by the Pleiadians into a huge Shiva lingam, which is, as I mentioned, the signature form of Sanat Kumara, thus designating Kailash to be his court on Earth. Kailash was also made into a Shiva lingam because the lingam shape, which unites the male and female polarity, continually generates life force power that moves into the planetary grid and energizes the entire Earth. The lingam power is added to the power that's inherent in the crown chakra, as well as Sanat Kumara's own very intense power. And these 3 sources of power are added to the power that is naturally generated by Mount Kailash. The name Mount Kailash literally translates as Crystal Mountain. Now, there is some legitimate proof that Kailash's Shiva lingam shape may not be natural and may have been the work of the Pleiadians. For example, the pyramid that constitutes the very top part of the Kailash Shiva lingam has been acknowledged by Russian scientists to be too perfect to have been formed naturally. Moreover, there is a perfect Om symbol that's carved into one of the sides of Kailash that also appears to be unnatural and created by a higher intelligence. Now, following the creation of Sanat Kumara's court on Mount Kailash, which according to Hindu legends is where he originally lived with his parents, Shiva and Parvati, Sanat Kumara and his Pleiadian entourage made the root chakra of Earth his second court. His new court was similarly marked by his signature Shiva lingam that is nearly identical to that of Mount Kailash on the very opposite side of the earth. Sanat Kumara's entourage then built a temple city in what is now Sedona, Arizona. This city is known in the legends of the Hopis as Palatkwapi, the red place or the red house, in reference to its crystal and iron enriched red rock. In order to amp up the Kundalini power of Earth's root chakra and the inherent power constantly generated by Sanat Kumara, along with the Shiva lingam in the center of Palatkwapi, the star people erected geometrical grids and placed special red rock formations at their corners. The synthesized power thus created was then directed into the world grid to feed the earth and all life forms living upon our planet. The star people also made Palatkwapi into a sacred city where humans can learn the mysteries of the universe and acquire Kundalini activation. One of the star people who taught these mysteries was a holy, who is pictured on the lower right side of your screen. Later in time, Palatkwapi was a destination for seekers of wisdom all throughout the Western Hemisphere. Throughout time, one of the names accorded Sanat Kumara has been the Fisher King, which is a name that identifies him as a human holy grail full of the holy grail power or Kundalini. As the planetary Fisher King, Sanat Kumara was the ancient founder of the Holy Grail tradition, within which the Holy Grail power is passed down long lineages of enlightened monarchs and adepts. In the historical records of Persia, Sanat Kumara is known as King Jamshid, whose name denotes resplendent chalice that is full of Holy Grail power. According to Persian legend, through his power, King Jamshid, who is pictured in the center of this slide, kept the entire planet and all humans strong, healthy, and prosperous during the time of the Golden Age. Many believe that the Golden Age of the Persians occurred when Mount Kailash and the court of the King of the World was situated at the North Pole. In his current role of Fisher King, Sanat Kumara continues to keep the planet healthy and prosperous from his courts and thrones at Mount Kailash and Sedona Palatkwapi. In this slide can be seen Sanat Kumara's court in Sedona. The throne in the center of the court, which is a version of a Shiva lingam, is filled with the Kundalini power of Earth's root chakra that is combined with Sanat Kumara's own power. Together, collectively, this power continually spirals out into the world. And the power begins to spiral at the end of the throne. And then it spirals around the back of the throne before moving out of the big canyon called Boynton Canyon that it is situated within. The power then keeps spiraling out in accordance to the exact measurements of the golden mean proportion, and it cuts through certain strategic red rock formations like Bell Rock, which marks Sedona's 7th chakra. The power of Sedona Palatkwapi then moves into the planetary grid. As you can see on this slide, Sedona resides on a major energy line known as the Quetzalcoatl line, that completely encircles the earth. Mount Kailash is also on this line. So through this line, the power generated at both courts of the king of the world encircles the globe. The Aztecs, who as mentioned know Sanat Kumara as the peacock angel, maintain that the king of the world has been known by cultures all over the globe, and he has had 1001 names and forms. As mentioned earlier, he is the embodiment of pure Kundalini energy that can take any form at any time. So here are some of the forms, names and forms that he has taken on your screen. And now you'll find that almost every important ancient civilization includes a king of the world in their legends. And although the names and appearances of these monarchs differ, their underlying legends are generally the same. They were all the king of the world, as well as the savior of humanity who first taught the path of God. And typically one of their forms was the green man, the lord of nature. And most were in some way associated with Venus and or the Pleiades. Now, Sanat Kumara's counterparts in the slide include, well, across the top of the slide, you find King of the World Enki. You find the Green Man as King of the World. You find King Jamshid, and then you find Masao of the Hopis. In the bottom row, you find Osiris as the Green Man, Dionysus, King Melchizedek, and the peacock angel, the peacock king of the Uzedis. One of the forms of the king of the world is King Neptune Poseidon of Atlantis, who is pictured with his trident and Venusian crown. As Neptune, lord of the sea, and as Poseidon, the earth shaker and lord of the land, King Neptune was the Atlantean version of Sanat Kumara, king of the world. Neptune Poseidon's Venusian crown is a symbol of Sanat Kumara's lineage of kings that descended from the planet Venus. The crown is covered with Venusian symbols. Its 8 and 13 triangles denote the 8-year cycle the planet has with Earth, during which Venus revolves around the sun 13 times. And the horns and the crown denote the dual nature of Venus as the morning and evening stars, as well as its manifestation of celestial horns of light that surround it at certain times. Now, according to legend, when Atlantis was destroyed, the Atlantean royal family of monarchs that were descended from Neptune, known as the Votans, they left the motherland and established kingdoms around the globe. In this way, the Venusian lineage of Sanat Kumara continued to survive in different areas of the earth. Now, the Venusian crown has recently been discovered among the Tuaregs of Algeria and the Mescalero Apaches in the American Southwest. And Sanat Kumara also founded lineages of terrestrial monarchs from his throne and court of Mount Kailash. Legend had it that it was in this Eden that the Palladians created the fair-skinned Persians and Scythians, who were the early founders of the Aryan race. The Scythians, which are pictured on the slide, were like Tolkien's elves in The Lord of the Rings, destined to rule the world. After departing Mount Kailash with their pointed elfin hats, the Scythians traveled west to Europe to become the Germanic monarchs that eventually governed most of the continent. And later, as the Anglo-Saxon kings of Britain, they ruled most of the world. Now, to end this presentation, I would like to share some prophecies of the future regarding Sanat Kumara. Although the truth of his existence, as well as his Pleiadian entourage and the lineage of kings and adepts he established, has been mostly lost, there are prophecies predicting his return and the return of the star people. Some of these prophecies come from the Hopis who live near Sedona, Palatkwapi in northern Arizona. This slide shows the image of a starship engraved on a rock face on the Hopi reservation that the Hopis claim represents the ancient Pleiadians that anciently came to Earth, as well as their return to our planet now. Their return is destined to coincide with the beginning of the fifth world of reunion, which will be a time when people of the Earth can finally come together as one planetary people by acknowledging that because of racial mixing over the millennia, we all have Pleiadian DNA, and we all have Pleiadian ancestors. Helping to cement our planetary union is return to mass consciousness of our Pleiadian ruler, Sanat Kumara, who in his various forms as king of the world has been part of the heritage of nearly every nation on Earth. The Hopi prophecy began to come true in the 1970s when the night sky above the Hopi reservation was full of starships. And recently it is manifested as the discovery of Sanat Kumara's court and throne in Sedona. Many people are feeling called to Sedona now to connect with Sanat Kumara and their Pleiadian heritage, which is why I am currently offering tours around the city to those places that are the vestiges of ancient Palatkwapi. If you are interested, please visit the address below, and it will give you a complete itinerary of the tour that I give around Sedona. So thank you for watching this presentation of part 1 and part 2 of the truth about Sanat Kumara. If you'd like to know more about us, the Order of the Seven Rays, and about Sanat Kumara and his teachings, please visit our website at www.sevenrayorder.com. Namaste and blessings.